Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Object of the Game for Coach Chuck Kyle. I'm Maureen Kyle. And one of the hottest sports to play right now, especially for girls, now boys is also booming, is volleyball. We're in volleyball season for high schools and grade schools and everything else. So your kid might be playing volleyball, maybe interested in volleyball. And today we are going to have a legendary high school coach, Carol Russo. She coached for Elyria High School for 27 years. If you have played volleyball and you're of a certain age, you know exactly who Carol is. But I really wanted to get you two together because I know her actually because I'm friends with her son, and we've sat together and talked about volleyball a lot, especially now that my kids are in there. And both of you talk about loving the actual sport, that coaching was not about any sort of accolades or any sort of records or anything, but it was loving the sport.
Right. You could watch a game of football and you can watch volleyball being played and enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me, please enjoy it. That's great. Coaching it, now you're really getting into the mechanics, the skills that are needed. And what happens there is the teaching part that you hopefully love kicks into gear. The games, they're going to take care of themselves if you're enjoying and communicating the skills needed. And you have to love doing that. You got to love teaching and seeing the kids awkwardly doing it at first. The ball's all over the place.
Yeah.
But they're getting, okay, keep going, be patient. Let's work with it. And you're seeing the kid get better. And the kid senses getting better. And the smile goes on the face, and there's a lot of good things that happen because of that.
Yeah. And that's what is rewarding. And Carol talks about it in a million interviews, and she'll probably talk about it today of what the true reward
Guarantee
is.
she will. That's what coaching really is.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have a great conversation today. Volleyball fans, I know there's a lot of you out there. Volleyball parents, volleyball coaches, volleyball players. You are not going to want to miss this conversation. When we come back, we're going to be talking with Carol Russo. Welcome back to the Object of the Game. Before we get to our interview, we want to thank our sponsor, Lakespur Marketing. Lakespur Marketing prides themselves on delivering positive and powerful results. They are a full transparency marketing agency who will be with you every step of the way. They are in constant communication with their clients. At Lakespur Marketing, there isn't a set it and forget it strategy. All tactics are customized to your needs. Trust the experts. Trust Lakespur Marketing. In Northeast Ohio, there is one name that is synonymous with high school volleyball, and that is Carol Russo. We have Carol with us here today. We're going to talk all things volleyball, which is a sport that has been exploding in popularity, but more so now than ever. Carol, thank you for coming and sitting with us and talking.
Thank you for having me.
Now, I got to go through some of these stats.
Yes.
And you guys have a lot in common, and you have a lot to talk about. So 575 victories in 27 years with Elyria High School. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes. And in multiple Hall of Fames, we'll get into some of the championships that you've won. But what I really admire is that you came from a coaching family. You grew up with parents who were coaches. Could you talk about that? What was that like?
Well, as a young child, my father was a basketball coach at Clearview High School. And I played under the bleachers in the yuck. That was I was 4, 5. And we knew if Dad had a successful game because we stopped for pizza.
Yeah.
And so we learned very early on in life.
The value of victory was very clear, huh?
To sit in the back seat of the car and be quiet.
Yeah.
And not make a sound until we either stopped for pizza and then we were excited.
Yeah.
Because I was under the bleachers the whole game. Or they kept driving and like, oops, no talking.
Oh, well.
All the way home.
There is no joy in Mudville.
Yeah.
No. So, but my mother was a highly successful coach at Oberlin High School. And she is a true pioneer of coaching. She wrote the operating procedures and regulations for the Lakeland Conference to have girls athletics when Title IX went into effect.
Wow.
And she wrote that so that I was a high school senior and I got to play on approved Lakeland Conference sports for girls very first year. And nobody else had that,
Yeah.
but the Lakeland Conference because of my mother.
Wow.
Incredible. And she coached volleyball?
She coached volleyball and basketball.
basketball.
Wow.
And I know she went to the state tournament in volleyball. They got very close in basketball many times. She is, she is an icon like you are in the St. Ignatius community in Oberlin.
Mm.
Yeah, she was absolutely it. She is the beloved teacher coach.
Yeah. And now people are saying that about you.
Oh.
Too. You know that, right? Like,
That's right.
this is because now my girls are playing volleyball, and everywhere I go, I hear about Carol. So did you grow up loving and playing? How did you fall in love with the sport, with volleyball, or were you kind of torn between volleyball and basketball? How did that work?
No, I mean we played everything.
Right. Good.
So I am
Great.
the youngest of three, older brother and sister, and my sister played basketball, and she was not a volleyball player. My brother played football and lacrosse, and went to Ohio State and played lacrosse. My sister played basketball at Ohio State and field hockey. I think I was a competitive swimmer as a young kid, so I swam. And my first year at Ohio State, I was on the swim team
Oh wow!
because I got
there
there
you
too
go.
late to play volleyball.
Oh no
Because
way.
Ohio State didn't start until like the 1st of October, and volleyball season is half gone.
Oh,
So
wow.
I swam.
Wow. Wait,
So-
they didn't start school until
Oh,
October?
very late. Yes. I mean, we didn't go to school. Everybody
Yeah,
else went to
late.
school, and we were still out.
Right.
So
Yes,
I
Do you
swam.
remember that?
I remember that. Yes.
Yeah, it was very late
Let-
start.
let-
Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, yes, because some football games were played before the
Oh,
students got
a
there.
lot of football
Like
games
the
were
first
played
2
before the
weeks or
student body
something
got
like
there.
that. Before
Yes.
the student body got
No student
Who's in the
body.
stadium? I mean, come on.
And that was back in the day when you could buy like your football ticket. You got like, all your games on a punch ticket for all of $20. And
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Eh,
And you
not
would
anymore.
sell your ticket and you would count on the person giving you your ticket back, and they did.
Yeah.
They just got it punched and gave it back. It's wild, I know. And then my sophomore year, I played volleyball. So, and then I got hurt. I had knee surgery and I was done, but that's okay.
Yeah.
But I was in love with the game. I loved it in high school. My claim to fame in high school was I served an entire game, all 15 points.
Oh my
We didn't rotate.
Oh. Rules.
you
You're,
just-
you're
you just
boggling my mind on these rules. I've been to the
Now,
Well, that
he-
was side
now
out
he's
scoring.
watching a lot of volleyball.
I know
I'm
that
watching-
was side out scoring, and
okay,
15
that's
points was a
what's side-
game.
Okay.
And I served all 15 points, and the coach at North Ridgeville didn't like me, and that's okay. I didn't care.
Yeah.
Um,
You can't apologize at that
no,
point. No.
And I had a player who did the same thing in high
Oh,
school, who served
okay.
an entire game.
So
Side out.
That's
Now,
amazing.
I was wondering what that meant.
Side
Yeah.
out
I know.
scoring is you have to be serving in order to score.
Right. Okay.
So if you lose the serve, it's just a side out. There's no point scored. Rally scoring, there's a point every
Everything.
every
Okay.
time.
All right.
So
I'm
rally
learning.
scoring
I'm
really
learning
is-
today because
And
I was
that
wondering
came
what that
into
was.
being when I was president of the Ohio High School Volleyball Coaches Association,
Mm.
because I just can't help myself. I get my finger in that pie, and I just
Yeah.
so
You know, there's another thing we could do.
Right.
You know, and you can just see Ohio there. Okay, now what? You know, they don't always like change. You know.
So
they
yeah,
don't
so
like
I
to-
was the president of the Coaches Association when rally scoring came into being.
Right.
And Ohio was one of the maybe 4 states in the country that also did the libero. We experimented with the libero at the same time.
Okay.
But back
That's a certain
then,
position.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a
all right.
certain position in the back
that's
row.
a defensive specialist
All
who
right.
wears the
I
different
see the
colored,
games, but okay.
different colored
okay.
jersey.
All right. All right.
Okay, so
okay.
when I took one of our sons to see one of my college girls play at Akron, he said to me, "Mom, like the cutest girl gets to wear the different colored jersey." Because high school didn't have that.
Yeah.
Did you just slap him or what? Oh my.
You have to laugh because that was great.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's a high
Well,
school.
'cause
That's
isn't
a
it
boys.
typically
Yes.
one of the shorter girls
Yes,
on the team?
yeah.
Like
Oh.
it's a position
Typically,
where
except not in big time collegiate.
no. All those
They're
girls. are-
they're over
Okay.
6 feet and they're
Yeah.
the libero. So
yeah.
but that we experimented with that. The libero at that time could not serve. So there's been a lot
Wow.
of
You've been
changes in the
involved with-
game.
Yes, a lot
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah.
A lot of
I was
changes.
going to ask you, short people playing volleyball.
Volleyball
I
is
did
a
it like
tall girl's
freshman
game,
year,
I have to tell you.
intramural volleyball,
Yeah.
it's like,
Volleyball's a tall girl's game.
right.
At the
Why am I
upper
at the
levels.
net,
Yeah.
all of 5'8", whatever. you know,
Right.
Well, and a men's net is 8 feet tall. So
I know.
that's,
That was a struggle
yeah.
for me.
Yeah, that's even more of a challenge.
Yes.
But you know what? We have so much to talk about because you helped change how the sport was played, especially locally. You've had an influence on so many young girls. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, I want to talk about how you even got into coaching because you could have gone one way or the other, and history would have been different. We'll talk about that when we come back. We are back now on the object of the game with Carol Russo, legendary Elyria High School. I'm going to say that, Carol. Legendary Elyria High School volleyball coach. And you retired only a few years ago, right? Or no?
This would be the start of my 19th,
19th
year retire.
year. See, but like but I run into a lot of women who are coaching now who said, "Oh, I played for Carol. I played for Carol." So you've had a huge impact. Something that we talked about in the break and even before the shows, even we started recording, was your college years. And Dad, you were kind of surprised at how, like the era that she started in.
The people that are watching the show, many don't realize how this whole evolved. I'm sure a lot of people, well, it's the NCAA. The NCAA has been around for forever, but girls' sports. That was the issue, and it's important to hear, where did girls volleyball come from? It wasn't the NCAA originally.
No.
Yeah.
All females participated in the AIAW, which is the American Intercollegiate Association for Women.
Mm.
Okay, I think that's what it stood for.
Sounds like that's
yeah.
at least close.
We'll
but
go with
the
it.
AIAW was it for women,
Right.
and there were no scholarships. Nobody got money
Right.
to play. And like at Ohio State, people would say things like, "Oh, do you like Woody?" I love Woody Hayes. I loved Woody Hayes. First of all, I had friends who were football players and played for him,
Right.
and I got to meet him, and that was always fun.
Right.
And I was at a hockey game with my sorority sisters, and he walked up to me and said, "Hi, Carol, are you enjoying the game?" And I was like,
gosh.
"Oh my gosh!"
Yeah. Oh wow.
So
Amazing.
but I mean, the football team made a lot of money, and because the football team made money, we had uniforms and we could fly to Minnesota instead of going in a bus. And so, never any ill will. Keep winning. You're great. You're awesome. But the Big Ten wasn't even like a women's volleyball thing until I think my senior year. And the NCAA is a very late addition after Title IX into women's athletics.
Right.
And
That's-
I'm trying to think, I can see them. Immaculata College maybe was the basketball team that won. They won like forever in for the women in the collegiate sport. They were a little tiny school in the East, and that was all AIAW. That was not the NCAA.
Wow.
Right. It's come along.
And even in
way.
even in Ohio, there were, as I said, my mom wrote the operating procedures for the Lakeland Conference, but I mean, it was a big push with the OHSAA to do girls tournaments, and then they weren't run like the boys tournaments.
Right.
Yeah.
And thank goodness Dee Billhart, who was the first female commissioner, and then Debbie Moore, who's just the gold standard. Made things happen and
Right.
made everything work.
All right. Debbie
So-
Moore, I definitely agree how important she
Oh,
was.
she's the gold standard.
Yeah, when
She
boys
made it
football and
happen.
everything. I think
Yes.
she presented the trophy all the time.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
wow.
so she was everywhere.
And she
Just on top of things. That
she
were
was the
going on.
volleyball commissioner.
Yeah.
So I was so fortunate to get to work with her. Oh, she
Yeah.
fabulous.
Oh, wow.
Fabulous.
So when you were playing at Ohio State, this was because you loved the game.
Yes.
This is so different than how it is now, where
Yes.
there's NIL and all this. You're playing because you're passionate about this sport.
Yes. And you are, I can tell you stories. I mean, we would practice in Paul Marine Hall, which is a very old facility. And we would practice in it was called the Brown Gym.
Mhm.
That had a turf floor.
Gym.
That's how I ripped my knee up.
Oh.
And then certain tournaments would be played at St. John, but not very often.
Yeah.
And Doug Beal, who was the men's coach, was at Ohio State at the time. And if Doug came into our practice, we all looked at each other like, we're going to die today.
Because he was so tough.
Because Doug, yes, would
He
run
was-
drills and
Oh my
put us
gosh.
through our paces.
Yeah.
And yet Doug is one of my lifetime friends.
Yeah.
So when I got when it was made public that I was going to be inducted in the Greater Cleveland, he's the first volleyball person and should be. I mean, Olympic gold medalist coaching. He was one of the first contacts was, hey, congratulations, Carol.
Aw.
right.
He's a neat guy. So we have a long-term friendship, but I don't even know where I was going now. So help me. So I went
you
off
said
track.
you got injured, and
I
that's
did.
why you stopped playing.
Yep, that was
Then
the
did
end
that
of me.
have an influence on deciding to get into coaching?
I kind of think I always wanted to be. I mean, I looked at my parents and it was just kind of like a bloodstream thing.
Yeah.
I think I just always wanted to do that. And I it was a thing in our house. If you could beat mom's ACT score, you could get a bit. Nobody did. So, and those kids are pretty smart.
Okay. Oh.
But I always wanted to go to Ohio State. That was
Yeah.
it's the only school I applied to. It's where I wanted to go. I loved it. It was the best place on earth for me. I got to experience a lot of things and I got to watch a lot of coaches and do things that you don't get to do at a small school.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was in my blood.
And then when you graduated, how did you end up at Illyria for was Illyria your first job?
No. I was at Mayfield for 4 years.
Okay.
And fun story. I started at the middle school.
Okay.
Okay, so 7th and 8th grade coach, one
Right,
coach for
right.
both teams. And first match, I went up to the opposing coach and I said, so do you want to share the net for hitting or do you want to? And he stops and he looks at me and he goes, hitting? I said, yeah, we're going to do attacking lines. He said, don't you think that's a little much? And I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
So I'm either going to get fired tomorrow
Yeah.
or, I mean, because I was teaching my girls how to hit and serve overhand and
Right.
3 hits on a side and
Right.
block. And it was like, oh, I think you're a little intense. It was like, this is the game.
Right. Well, there's a
So
play the sport.
Yeah.
Okay. What is that?
so clearly maybe even
Well,
you were destined for a higher level then with high school.
Right.
And
I,
then, I
I
mean-
can see this happening.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
My first ever watching a girls' basketball game, they had like 6 girls on the court.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And because they didn't want the girls to run all the way down the court.
2 defense,
It
2
would be
offense,
too-
2 rovers.
Too difficult for that.
Yeah.
I can remember going, what are they doing out there? Because the guys, we're just 5-on-5 and everything.
Iowa played
Remember
that kind of girls basketball for a
long
long
time.
time.
And it was, really? This is
Yeah.
how they play it?
Right.
Because, all boys school, we didn't know what they did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, and of course, even in grade school, there were no
Yeah.
that many girls' sports of anything. But
Yeah.
I can remember, and the whole mentality needed changing
Oh, yes.
of what
Oh, yeah.
young ladies can do these things
Yes.
and have
Mhm.
fun doing it. Why not?
So I ended up at Illyria because Tom and I were getting married,
Mhm.
and he was at Midview. He was at West Side, and I was Mayfield, East Side, 2 M's, right? And whoever got a job on the other side of town first, that's where we were going to go.
Uh-huh.
So we moved to Lakewood because we didn't have either one of us get a job, and that was in the middle.
Yeah.
And late July, Illyria calls and says, over the phone, you want a job? I'm like, yes, I do.
Yeah.
So I took a job over the phone and went and met everybody and signed a contract. And they talked to me about my mom, which was great because she was still at Oberlin and she
Right.
was, of course, very well known. And I remember saying to John Raber, my principal, if you're looking for my mother, I'm not it.
Mm.
I'm not it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Mhm.
Why do you say that? What are the big differences?
just not my mother.
Yeah.
I mean, and she is fabulous and she was a great coach, but if they were going to hold me to that standard,
Yeah.
no.
You want to be your own person.
I'm going to do it my way.
Mhm.
Right.
So,
It's
and of
fair.
course they gave me all the, it was really funny. They told me all the history of great athletics in Elyria, which is good.
Yeah.
They
Sure.
did. They had
Oh, yeah.
great athletics.
They did.
And they made it sound like the volleyball team was like this amazing,
Mhm.
right? So I go into practice and like the third day they're going out the old end doors puking and they're having a hard time at practice. And I looked at it, I said, "What? They told me how good you were." And my little setter looks at me and says, "Coach, we stunk. We won 3 matches last year."
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Some sort of sales job you got, huh?
You're working out for it.
And I said,
What?
"Well, guess what? We're going to win more than 3 this year."
Yeah.
Yes.
And you did.
And
We're
we
going to
did.
take a quick break here. And when we come back, we're going to talk about how Carol got them to be the winning team that they became known for. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the object of the game. We are talking with Carol Russo, who is a longtime volleyball coach, head coach at Elyria High School. And we were just talking about when you started coaching. What were some of those challenges being a young coach? And then you were just saying they did not have the winning record. So you're starting from the ground up.
Yes. Well, first, I am a dinosaur with skills. Like, if you don't know proper skill technique, you will never be successful.
Mm.
So we would spend the first hour of practice on footwork and agility and ball drills.
Good.
And ball circuit. And so our kids, they had to learn the game, but they were so inviting. They were energetic and they took me in. They were just so personable and they were like little sponges. They just soaked it up.
Mhm.
And I am passionate for the game. So, and we had a little bit of a rough start. I think we lost our first 5 matches.
Oh, wow.
And I had a parent come up to me and say, okay, Mrs. Russo, you're killing these kids and they're 0-5. And I said, yeah, but they're so much better than they were.
Yeah.
And then we didn't lose again until tournament time.
When the
wow.
kids realize they're getting better,
So
That-
they just
they can
had
handle
to,
it,
yeah. And,
you know?
and they were great.
Mhm.
And they were friends and they were friendly and they wanted to be better and they bought in. They do whatever I asked them to do. And that's just a
Right.
gift.
you know,
I mean, that's just a gift.
we mentioned this one time before, but what you're hearing there is a coach as opposed to just managing.
Mhm.
Managing. Here are the plays. Go do them, kids. No, coaching is making each individual a better player. And that's the difference in a lot of sports, right? It's everybody wants to manage, but you want your daughter, you want your son to go to a coach where that kid realizes they're getting better at this sport. I get the technique now because it does come down to technique on sports. It comes down to it. I don't care what sport you want to list. The team that's technically better, the other team may be taller, but if you're technically better, that evens the score on any advantage they have in talent. That's
Well, coaching is teaching, and we were in the
Right.
Buckeye Conference. So on school nights, we were going to Marion and Fremont and Finley
Oh, wow.
and we were traveling on school nights.
right. Oh,
So, the kids had to, and I tell our grandkids all the time, athletics is the only place that you learn life skills, how to budget your time,
right.
how to be
Very much so.
unselfish, discipline, the team is more important than you are. There's all these wonderful attributes and you only learn them in athletics.
Yeah.
So,
Which is why we wanted to do this show.
That's
because
exactly why we're doing a show.
I don't know how
I'm gonna
tall
go
my
home. She's gonna
kids.
take over.
Carol's gonna
take
run
over.
this show from now on. And then as you were seeing these kids evolve and develop, and teenage years, we talk about it all the time on the show. Teenage years are notoriously very difficult, but they can also be very transformative. you talked about fundamentals, but what else did you emphasize with your players?
All those life skills.
Mhm.
So you have to show up on time. You have to do your 1/6. You don't have to be best friends with your teammates, but you have to respect your teammates.
Right.
And then, I listened to them. And I had boys, so I'm a boy mom.
Mhm.
And my office was right next to the team room.
Mhm.
And so a girl would go out to, use the restroom, whatever, which was at the opposite end of the locker room. And I'd hear them. They're totally unaware that I'm listening. And they're about whatever. And then that girl comes back and then another, and then they're on her. So I just get up and I go into the team room and say, okay, listen, this is how it is. You're not going to treat your teammates like this.
Mhm.
This is all for one for all. We are not doing this. And we will not be successful if we're nitpicking at each other. Everybody's going to make mistakes. Everybody's going to have a bad day. You're all going to be in this boat. And so am I.
Mhm.
So done. We are done with this.
Mhm.
Absolutely 100% done.
Mhm.
And then, they would just come talk to me and I'd listen.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You listen. And I was also their get out of jail free card.
Oh.
How's that?
So as well as our boys.
Yeah.
So the deal was, and I was very, very strong with this, was you cannot be anywhere where drinking or drugs is happening. So the first one of you who sees it, you're the mother hen, and you go round up all your teammates and you get the heck out. And if you need to, you can call me. I'll come pick you up.
Mhm.
And you can just say to somebody, I can't be here. My coach will kill me. And they'll go, yes, she would. And that's it. You're
Yeah.
free. And the same thing happened with our boys. They could just say, oh, my mom. Oh, and
Yeah.
they'd all go, oh, you're right. And they're
Yeah.
excused. So, and kids need that. So it's not they're saying,
Right.
I can't be here. I took that off of them. I got broad shoulders.
Right.
You
Right.
can't be there.
The ability for a kid in that scenario, right? Here they are at some party and that stuff's happening. The ability to give them the excuse to turn to the others. Hey, no, I'm involved in sports right now.
Yeah.
I'm in the season. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
It sends a good message to the one who's offering it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you have anything valuable in your life that you can make that sacrifice? I do. I'm on a team.
Mhm.
No, thank you. Maybe that would register with the kid passing it around. You
Well,
know,
I
too bad
I
that
don't
kid
know
didn't
about that.
have
but
that in his life,
You
know,
or her life. I should
It's
say.
we all depend on each other. So one of you falls down the rabbit hole, we all suffer.
Right. Oh yeah.
That can't happen.
Right.
So early on, there was a tremendous girl at Findlay High School. She was the absolute cream of the Buckeye Conference. And she was seen at a homecoming dinner having a glass of wine and got kicked off the team and lost her scholarship.
Oh, wow.
And she had a scholarship and she lost her scholarship. I used that story for a long time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That would you get
Yeah.
their attention on that one, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Yeah. Did it feel like parenting? I don't know how many, it had to be thousands of girls. Like, did it feel like you were an extra parent? Well, I mean, you had the boys at home, but then here you are in that role. Or did you feel like just an extra authority figure?
I loved my girls,
Mhm.
and they would tell you that. So when you talk to those girls who are coaching that you
Yeah.
see, they know I love them, and they love me,
Mhm.
which is nice.
Yeah.
They were the babysitters for our kids early on. They were the babysitters, and then
great.
I told the boys, "You're not allowed to date volleyball players." They all dated volleyball players, and told me, "That's not fair, Mom. Those are the best kids in school. Those are the cutest girls in school."
There you
No.
go.
So Brian married a volleyball player.
All right.
So,
Wow.
who played for me.
Mhm.
So, I mean, the whole program became a family thing. Once you get that hook in them,
Right.
right?
Oh,
You get the hook in, you hook in the parents. We had a dad's club. They did the lines.
Okay.
They called the lines. The mothers took over the concession stand. We had to ask the organization that had concessions at Elyria High, we had to ask, did they want to come to, they weren't interested at all, which was great because then our parents made a lot of money.
Sure.
Rich Woodman from Menor used to get off the bus at Elyria and say, "What's for dinner?" Because there'd be chicken paprika,
Oh,
there'd be,
yeah.
all this stuff. They'd make all this stuff
Right.
in the concession stand.
Oh, wow.
Um, and so once you get them all in, like, and of course, success. If you win, everybody wants to be a part of a winner,
Yeah.
and the kids thrive on that. And we were able to do so many cool things. So the parents redid the team room, as in gutted the room and rebuilt it.
Wow.
Um,
Do you think there was like what came from that? It was almost like a chicken and an egg situation where it's like was it because people felt like there was a community and felt like it was a family? Did that help breed the success? Do you think,
I
or
think
was it success then bred the community?
I think it all wraps up
Yeah.
in that. I think it all wraps up.
Mhm.
There was a situation in our family where I needed some help, and I reached out to a former player's parents. I mean, I've been retired a long time, and this girl's been gone from me for 30 years.
Yeah.
And I can't even begin to tell you how fabulous they were.
Yeah.
I mean,
Great.
anything you need, bent over backwards. I mean, the love and respect that is there
Yeah.
is solid,
Right.
and it's withstanding the test of time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And you probably felt the same way.
Oh, you do. It's interesting how the kids are in high school, and there's a lot going on there, right?
Mhm.
There's this person that kind of pointed him in certain directions and got him heading to something and in the end, years later, they really appreciate. They appreciate it at the time, but in a bigger way, 10 years later, 15 years later, they realized what was going on there. It wasn't just, hey, show up for the game. Here's the uniform. No, there was way more going on, and it takes them a while to get that, to get what the experience was really.
Well, Elyria High it's a great school. I would not be the person I am if I hadn't coached at Elyria High, and if our kids hadn't gone there and I hadn't grown up there. Well, I didn't grow up there, but our kids did. I did FAFSA for players before my own kids were old enough to have FAFSA. I knew what FAFSA was. I had done it. My husband, God bless him, was very generous. We paid the fee for admission,
Oh,
the
right.
application
Entrance
fee.
fee.
The we paid
Right.
entrance fees for kids. I had a girl I had on a allowance. I sent her money at school
Wow.
because
Wow.
she had a scholarship, but she didn't have any money to buy shampoo or
Right.
soap
Well,
or do her
yes.
laundry or, I
Right.
just sent her money. And I would do it again in a heartbeat.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
And you know what? That kid made it.
Mhm.
Aw.
That's
And
right.
it's kind of like the story with the starfish. You can't say, "Ma, he's one at a time," So, and I had great kids who helped each other. And my paycheck, I just went to lunch recently with two of my kids from the same team. And I said, my paycheck and what warms my heart is the fact that you girls in that graduating class are still together. You've been in each other's weddings. You go to funerals of your parents when they pass. I mean, they do a girls' weekend every year.
Aw.
That's oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what it's all about.
When there's that reunion type
Yeah.
thing, hey,
Who cares
10
about the
years
wins
or
and
whatever
losses?
it is.
That's the win.
When they get, what I experience with these football players, they haven't seen each other in 10 years or so. It takes like 5 minutes. Once they get together, they are back at it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like it's 10 years ago,
Yes.
laughing
that's-
around, just being like
Yeah.
they are still teammates.
Yeah.
They are
Right.
still teammates. It's not like, well, you only have those couple years of being, no, they're teammates the rest of their lives.
Mhm.
And that's, you
And
can't, they can't
Yeah.
undervalue that at all.
So Elyria has this group called the Madrigals. They're the, like the cream of the crop of the choir. And they go out and they sing for money, obviously, and they
Sure.
perform and do. So they came to our church. And afterwards, I go up and I hug Rachel. And this, a member of my church says, "Well, how do you know her?" And Rachel looks at her and says, "I'm a Russo girl."
There you go.
There you go.
Right.
You got to get T-shirts made.
Yes, that's right.
But that, that was she's mine.
Yeah.
She's mine for
Yeah.
life.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Well, you said it's not about wins and losses, but there were a lot of wins. We want to talk about you went to 18 conference championships. I want to hear a good story when we come back from break, because I know there's got to be one that stands out in your mind, or maybe it wasn't one of the conference championships games. Take a minute to think about it, and we'll be back with Carol Russo. Thanks for watching The Object of the Game. We are talking with Carol Russo, who is a legendary volleyball coach. I'm going to keep saying it. You keep laughing. She coached Elyria High School for years and years. Now, I mentioned 18 conference championships. I'm sure there's some that stick out in your mind, but I always love to ask the guests, like, tell me that one story. Tell me the story that when you sit down and you won't believe that this happened, or this is what I will always remember until my last day on earth. Like, is there some sort of game or moment or something that just really epitomizes everything, like the career that you've had?
Well, there's more than one.
Yeah, I'm sure there's more than one.
There's more than one.
I'm sure there's
but
more than one in 27
maybe
years.
one of the most recent.
Mhm.
We were in regional tournament playing at Norwalk High School, and we were the second match of the night, and we were playing Magnificat, and we have long history with Magnificat.
Mhm.
Long.
My
history.
alma mater. I told her,
Yes.
go ahead, tell all the
I know.
stories. It doesn't matter.
Long.
I did not play. I'm 5'4".
okay. And they were very good. So they were, I could tell maybe 4 or 5 stories about Magnificat. But so we were losing. We lost the first set and did not look good. Did not look good. And we were losing the second set. And the coaches from St. Ursula got up and left. And we won the match. And our kids it's not in their DNA. They just don't quit. And you can challenge them, which is nice. You can get in a player's face in a huddle and say, okay, you do this. And they nod at you, and then you go, you do this. And they nod at you and you go back out on the court. And so we came back, and I don't think anybody was more shocked than Magnificat that we won.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, it was just kind of like, see you on Saturday, John.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, I hope everything you saw was all our weaknesses, because you don't know what we can do.
Right.
Right.
But that the mental game, the momentum, like how many times were you in a game where all of a sudden it was a clear shift?
Oh, the momentum is
way.
huge in volleyball. Huge in volleyball. And, I didn't like to call timeouts. I wasn't if I called timeout, I'd have to tell the kids, okay, I called timeout because I thought you needed a break. It's hot in here. Get water. Or if I called timeout, they're like, ooh, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
Because I let kids work through things. I wasn't that coach who, if you made 1 or 2 mistakes, you got yanked right away.
Yeah.
I let you work through it unless it was 5 or 6, and then you had to come out and then just calm down. But then I put you back in. I wasn't that coach. I wanted kids to figure it out. And I didn't call serving zones. We taught our kids in practice where to serve. When you see this setup, serve there. When you see, this is going to sound bad. When you see the kid with the big knee brace, serve at her.
Yeah.
But don't serve directly to her. 1 step to
Right.
each side.
Make her move.
Make her move.
Yeah.
And so we taught them for them to look at the situation and make that choice. Because how many times have I seen a coach tell a kid where to serve to? They miss the zone and they miss the serve, and it's a point for the other team.
Yeah.
I'd rather teach the kid what to do. But anyway, so, I wasn't that, but if I needed to call timeout, I did, to stop it. And usually it's just, you don't overload. I don't know what you were like as a coach but you can't say more than 2 things.
Right.
It's overload.
Right.
So pick what you're going to say and make it count.
Right.
Or I could say one thing to 4 different kids. It's a different thing, but you just don't, I have this thing with golf. If you're thinking, you're stinking.
Yeah.
So
I need to write that.
Yeah.
just go up and, take your shot and hit
Right,
the ball. If you're
right.
thinking about it, you're totally going to mess up.
Yeah.
So you want kids to feel confident in this is good. All you have to do is this.
Right. There's a lot of excitement and movement.
Yes.
All right. focus in on this
Right.
right here. This is
Right.
here it is. You don't go in at halftime of a football game and go over 10 or 12
Right.
changes.
Yeah.
It's not going to work.
Yeah.
It's not
And
gonna
you don't
work.
want them real high or real low.
Mhm.
So you got to have it even. You can a little wave, but not so you don't big celebrate and you don't get down. It's like it's 1 point. Get over it.
Yeah.
It's 1 point.
Yeah.
The serve's coming. It could come to you. So get your face up. Let's
Yeah.
go. And kids, kids react to that. They're okay with that.
Right.
Yeah.
They're okay with
Right.
that. It's life. It's life. And when we lost big matches, you process the loss, but you hug the kid and you say, "Hey, the sun's going to come up tomorrow." And life goes on. And if this is the worst thing that ever happens to you in your life, man, you're living a charmed life.
Mhm.
And you just, and they're upset but oh well.
Yeah. Let them
You know?
process it a little bit, but
Yeah.
come on now.
Let's
Let's go.
Let's
There's
go.
more to this world
Let's
than
go.
a
Yeah.
lost game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go.
You just process it and go.
I want to ask you, what advice would you give to parents? Because I promised you I wouldn't put you in a controversial place, but there are so many. Like I said, volleyball is booming.
Yes,
it is
it
now
is.
like this is the trendy sport for all kids
Yes.
to play, and I'm seeing a lot of parents getting it wrapped up in the emotion of it. And I think from a coach, it would be great to hear any sort of advice you would have for that parent.
They won't like it.
We've been to tournament.
That's
I have
okay.
seen
They won't like it.
Some of
Because
the-
I would tell them back
Yeah.
off, stay in your lane.
All right.
Your job as a parent of any athlete is to love your kid, be honest, don't blow smoke up their backside telling them they're all world and they're not. Be honest, but stay in your lane. Let the coach coach and stay out of the my athlete's better than this. Why aren't they playing? Because that destroys a team.
Right.
Because when the kid hears that at home, they go to practice thinking, "Oh, I'm better than Susie. Why aren't I playing? Mom and
Mm.
Dad say I'm better than she is." You have to support the whole team. Support your kid, but be realistic and stay in your lane.
Mm.
Just stay in your
I
lane.
like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
And don't ever go up to a coach at a match. Ever.
Yeah.
Ever. Ever.
Yeah. See, yes. There's so much research on when a parent reacts like you're talking about in a game or at the coach or something like that. There's such research that says you're embarrassing
The
your
kid.
when the kid sees the parents do at the official or at the coach, and that ridiculous statistic on, yes, it's really embarrassing to see my parents do that.
So in the Russo household, we had 3 big boys who were very athletic and were very good. They played, varsity sports, and we would sit up by ourselves off in the Netherlands. At baseball, I called it the center field loge. We would sit in center field with our chairs and
Right.
our cooler,
Uh-huh.
and Mom always had a book.
Yeah.
Wasn't Shakespeare, but I always had a book.
Oh, it's okay.
And when the kids were up to bat or they were involved, I wasn't reading. I was watching them. But other than that, I'm reading my book. I mean, baseball's a long game.
Mhm.
And we didn't want to. I had to listen to, that those kids can't be 12. Look at how big they are.
Mhm.
Had to travel with their birth certificates. I mean, I got a full,
Right.
full menu of parents in my face, and
Right.
we have twins. They shouldn't play on the same team. It's not fair. I'm like, I'm not doing 3 teams. Sorry.
Yeah.
Stings to be you. They're playing on the same team.
Yeah.
The way it works. Welcome to the real world here. That's the team.
So, you just gotta take a step back,
Mhm.
calm down. And I want to say this too. The kid isn't playing for a college scholarship. So let's get that right out.
Right.
The kid is not playing. There's no 7th grader on earth who is playing for a college scholarship. So they should be playing because they love the game. It's what they want to do. They enjoy being with their friends. This is what they want to do. And and this is coming from someone who put a lot of girls in college on scholarships.
Mhm.
When it's not fun anymore,
No,
You
it's
ruin
got
it
to.
for 'em.
Well, even at the high school game,
Mhm.
I had something on my practice plan, and I'd have to hide my practice plan because the kids would go get my clipboard out of the
Yeah,
out
they
of the
would.
basket, and they'd be
Okay.
looking to see what because I
Okay.
always had a practice plan, always.
All right.
It didn't always get. Rarely did we get through it, but I always had one,
Mhm.
and they'd want to know what the fun thing was because that was my thing.
Mhm.
Volleyball is a game, and games are played for fun. So there was something at practice every day that was strictly for the fun factor.
Oh, wow. And what kind of reaction did you see then?
Oh my God, they'd be like, "Oh, that's my favorite," and
Yeah.
they'd go
Mhm.
running into
Yeah.
it,
Right.
Yeah.
And I had athletes. One of the best athletes I ever coached. It didn't matter how hard the drill was, how nasty, because you can control with speed and tempo
Sure.
and timing and whatever, and and she would be like, "I love this one."
Yeah. Heard that many, many times.
Yeah.
When you hear drill, you're thinking, oh, it's the march and it's going to be
Yeah.
or whatever. It's really
Yeah.
tough. There are some drills that we'd post our practice schedule.
Yeah.
And they'd look and there's some conditioning there. I say, okay. Oh, great, Lee, we're doing that drill. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
And you're like, have fun. Great.
Yeah.
We are going to try to learn something in this drill too. though.
Yes. Well, there's always a goal in a drill. I mean,
Yes,
and it
they've
doesn't
got it.
even if it's for fun.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know that there's a goal. There's something that has to happen, and they're good with it,
Yeah.
and they're motivated.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, as a high school coach, I always held something back for tournament. So we would work all season on a certain thing, on a certain play, or we're going to run slides, or we're going to whatever. And we wouldn't do it until tournaments. And they'd be like in practice, "Coach Wink," I said, "got to pass better."
Mhm.
Yeah.
Not ready yet.
It's not cooked
Oh, I love
yet.
it. I love
And
it.
then at tournament time, it was something fresh.
Yeah.
And always had a theme too.
Mhm.
Always
There
had a
you go.
theme for tournaments.
Mhm.
Always
Right.
there was a theme for
Perfect.
tournaments.
Mhm.
And before every match, we went through we always had a game plan. This is our game plan. This is what we're going to do. And I always had a quote. I always had something, inspirational quote that was specific to that night. And then that was always typed up in part of their stat booklet at the end of the season.
You're going to love the next segment after
Oh.
after we take a commercial break because
Here
it
we
involves
go.
themes and a
Themes.
quote. And I promise you, you're
Whoa.
going to like it.
Look at that.
Yeah. Well,
She led right into
does
it.
love-
She's
she-
so eager to get
She
to
really
this,
could
isn't
take
she?
over this show.
No.
She could
No.
take over. You won't see
No.
us again. It'll be the
No.
Carol Russo show.
No.
All right. We'll have more when you come back. You are watching The Object of the Game. We've been talking with Carol Russo, longtime volleyball coach. She was head coach at Elyria High School. We just wrapped up the last segment by talking about themes and quotes, which was perfect because that is how we always wrap up every
how'd that
episode. Themes and quotes. Now, even just this morning, I sent you the list of themes that he usually sends our guests. So I know I gave you like minimal time to
That's
really
okay.
think about it. But Dad, this is
Well, it's being teachers that we
Mhm.
are,
Yeah.
right? There's
Teachers.
always, and you even mentioned earlier that at times you would have a theme for the week or a theme for a game coming up and so on. And all it is, to focus in on, okay, this is about a game, but it's also about life. All these themes are about life. So come on now, you pick something out for us, right? You got it.
I did. I picked two.
All right,
Okay.
I
great.
did. I picked
That's
two.
Great, excellent.
Pride and perseverance.
All right.
okay.
Because our kids
Very
were
good.
I am extremely proud of our entire program. And that's because of not me. It's my assistant coaches and the players and the administration and the families and the perseverance because our kids never quit.
Yeah.
Never.
See, pride can be a virtue. There's, arrogance is a whole nother. Get out of the ballpark here with arrogance, because all that does is screw people up. But to be proud of the way you play, proud of the way you're a teammate, right? Yeah, you should be proud of that, because later on in life, whatever career you go into, you better be proud of the way your business is run, whatever. That goes a long way.
How you present yourself.
Right.
Yes.
It's just-
Yes.
Yeah, there's something to that,
Mhm.
that you do it right.
Mhm.
Person who's proud of what he or she does, they do it right.
Mhm.
So pride is a great
Yeah.
one.
And I like perseverance.
Perseverance
too.
that's been a common one because people who coach know perseverance. It doesn't always work.
No, but you're
Yeah.
in for the long haul.
Right.
It's
Right.
not a short-term thing.
Mm,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
those
and
are-
I think that's important too. We talk a lot about youth sports, and you brought it up too, because a lot of people in seventh grade, you use seventh grade as an example. So let's continue with seventh grade. And you've talked about it too, where seventh grade, that kid is not athletically what they'll be senior year of high school. And I think perseverance can make or break any sort of young athlete because I mean, you both saw it. And have you seen it, if you know of any examples? I mean, perseverance when a kid works, when anybody works at something, what a difference it can make.
Yeah. There's the ninth grader just hanging in there, It's interesting. 3 or 4 years later, that ninth grader suddenly is grown, has got it now,
Yeah.
right? The light bulb goes
Can
on.
you-
There we go.
Are you
I've had so many players that if you based it all on ninth grade, you're going, are you kidding me?
Wait, I want you to name, because I've actually used this in conversations because it's fall. We're just starting some sports. There's been some parents who've been worried. The Chris Hovan
Right.
example. You
Oh,
tell this
right.
story. I don't think we
Right.
told it on
Oh, yeah.
air.
Okay, very, 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 very quickly. Chris Hovan, St. Chris, CYO football
Yeah.
team. If you talk to the grade school coaches, they'd be going, he didn't want to tackle anybody. He didn't want to do a whole lot. He was just kind of hanging around, right? Freshman year, he's on the team. Sophomore year, and he even would talk about it. But he's getting to sophomore year, he was starting to feel it. That, yeah, I like this. And he kind of made a mental change that, no, I'm going to work at this. I want to do this. Well, by senior year, he's all state, offered by Boston College, plays like 8, 9 years in the NFL. But if you ask the youth coaches, they go, no way.
Yeah.
Because the light bulb goes on some of these kids, right? They just mature into it.
Mhm.
But they persevered. They didn't give up.
Mhm.
Persevered.
Yeah.
So
And then we have a quote.
yes,
Now,
I do.
is it a
All right, go ahead.
Shakespeare?
Yes.
It's okay.
Okay, all right.
It's
Because
okay.
Carol
It's
told
okay.
us before we started
It's
recording, she
okay.
doesn't like
Okay.
Shakespeare. So,
It's all right.
But
It's all right. I like Chaucer.
that's there's his challenge.
All right.
Is he's going to
Now,
make everybody like the
Patrick,
Shakespeare quote.
I didn't know she didn't like Shakespeare that much. I picked this one out, I think 2 days ago, as a matter of fact. I'm thinking.
You
this
did your
over.
homework.
I did. This will fit. All right.
Mhm.
Now, actually, being an English teacher, figures of speech, metaphor, similes, right? Right? You all knows. There is a figure of speech called synecdoche. I'm not going to ask you, Patrick, if you remember that. Father Stryker. He had Father Stryker. If anybody would be Father Stryker. Synecdoche. And what that is part is made to represent the whole. So if you're saying all hands on deck, right? A naval thing. Well, you got to bring more than your hands. That it means
Mhm.
the part represents the whole, right?
Mhm.
So knowing, just everybody's gotten to know her, huh? Right?
Mhm.
I think this works beautifully, right? So this is from the play Measure for Measure, which is a kind of a dark comedy, whatever, in Act 3. All right. So ready? Here it is. Fastened your ear on my advising. Well, it's more than just your ear, kid. Get it? Tune in. Do the job. But it's, listen, get it. Don't just be looking at the birds flying around the sky or that person up in the stands. Listen and make it happen.
Mhm.
So Shakespeare had that one. I could picture her on the sidelines,
Mhm.
all right, sitting
Yeah.
there going, listen to what we're doing here.
I agree. I think her kids would agree too.
Okay?
Yeah, knowing Nick
There
the
you
way
go.
I do.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Yes. So there you go.
So
There's
now
a
she
Shakespeare
loves
quote.
Shakespeare.
There
Huh?
you go. Now
Yeah.
you have a
A
Shakespeare
convert,
quote
may
of
I
your
say,
own.
right? Okay,
Yeah.
maybe not. All right.
Yeah.
I tried.
Yes. We'll get her. We'll
All
get
right,
her.
Sure.
Carol, it was so wonderful
Thank you
Yeah.
so
talking
much.
with you.
Thank you.
I get to see Carol in real life all the time, but it was great to talk about your career and all the things you've done and the accolades that you have gotten from former players when you were inducted into the Hall of Fame. I'm sure everybody who's watching knows the impact that you've had, and that's what really matters.
Well, that's very kind of you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And thanks to all of you for watching The Object of the Game for Coach Chuck Kyle. I'm Maureen Kyle. If you've missed any episodes, you can watch them on YouTube and on the Big Play app. That's where you can download the app for free. You can watch all of these episodes, all of the episodes of any Big Play show. You can catch us on X. I still call it Twitter, on Mondays at 7 o'clock, and also on the Rock Entertainment Sports Network. That is 4 o'clock on Mondays. We'll see you back here next week.